Hi everyone, welcome back. I couldn't wait before this video to just unbox my new planner. I've been waiting for it for so long, but what I am going to go through today is what was included in the box when I unboxed it, and then I'm going to do a little flip through of the planner and kind of discuss how I'm planning to use this essentially. So just for context, I have ordered the ROSEY Life Planner, the Flow Planner, which is essentially the hybrid vertical and horizontal planner from the company. I have ordered it on the, I think, 6th of August, so a long time ago. And it finally came in today, this afternoon, all the way from Finland. So I was really excited about that. I was really happy with the way that the planner came in. It came into like this super cute box that you can see right here, which is going to be amazing to keep for storage. It came with some stickers as well. I'm not a huge fan of her stickers in general, but there is a little duck in here, which, you know, great. It came in with this little like magnetic pin, I guess, like it's just like a magnet where you detach the back and you kind of pin it through clothes essentially, that says growth. There's a couple more stickers, including like a 2026, a little bow, this little sticker that says keep growing, and also another little sticker here that says this planner is a tool to support my growth. I will not let it measure my growth. A little card as well, which was cute. She did spend some time actually writing my name by hand, which is always a touch that I appreciate. This little card essentially contains, which, you know, this is like the front, this is the back, there's some writing in it. Basically contained this thing, which I think is the famous gift that she mentioned as like, I guess, a reward for waiting patiently with all of the delays that there were with the shipment of the planner. It's essentially like a little sleeve with like 2 pockets that you can put things in, and then you can slide it into the planner to kind of get a pen loop out of it, which, you know, cute, not my style, but cute. And then finally the planner was wrapped into this bubble wrap paper, not paper, plastic, I guess. It's heart shaped, which is kind of cute, and like closed off with a sticker. And inside of this was the planner and also the plastic cover. I did order the jelly plastic cover, and this is of course the planner. So I ordered it in essentially like the rusty red. The texture of this is actually really nice, and I was surprised by how premium this actually looked. It's got this little rose on the front. It's not my art style, but I don't mind it. It says here, I don't know if you can see it because I'm sure that there's a reflection because of the plastic cover. It says 2026 ROSEY Planner. I have already slipped on the cover because I was paranoid about damaging it essentially. If it was a bit difficult to actually slip the cover on, but I guess that makes it more secure, so I don't mind too much really. In the back it says ROSEY Planner Flow A5, designed by the ROSEY Life Planner. It's a very nice color. I really like the feeling of the actual planner. Like if you touch the actual cover of the planner, not the jelly cover on top of it, it is quite nice. I quite enjoy that, honestly. I'm a fan. As I said, it's obviously very chunky, and I was surprised by how much I am like how high quality it is really. If you open it, the cover does have like these 3 little pockets on one side, and then I believe that there is a bigger one here on the back. Yeah, it does lay flat, by the way, in case you were wondering, which is always nice. So yeah, I just thought that we could just flip through this so we could take a closer look together, because I did like sneak a little peek, but mainly I just put the cover on and I had to kind of go back to work, so I didn't really get the chance to enjoy it too much. The paper is Tome River paper. They were supposed to use the Koji paper instead, but as you may or may not know, I guess, that didn't work out. So yeah, she didn't end up going with the Tome River paper. I don't mind the Tome River paper, even the new one, because the type of pens that I use for daily planning are not really too bad, honestly. In fact, it's quite nice if you're just using like normal pen and the occasional highlighter. But I do know that if you're using fountain pens, that might be a bit of an issue. I hope that you can see this okay, by the way. I'm trying to work out if you can see everything just fine, but I think you do. So here it says, Rosy Planner Flow, 3 lovelies of overwhelm and wonder. I think that sentence is a bit odd, but maybe that's just me, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. The paper, as I said, is classic Tome River paper. It's very soft, it's very light, it's very smooth. You've got a blank page and then you've got the full calendar here, 2026 calendar, which I appreciate. I am a fan of this because I like to use this for like tracking my period and stuff like that. And also like just at a glance, I guess. I kind of like that it's on this side and not on this side as well, so it's easier to like write on, I guess, for a lot of people. You got this perpetual calendar here, which I also really like the design of. You have the names of the month, and then you have like a series of like boxes here. You got in total there's 8 squares for each day. One of them is occupied by the actual day number, but 7 are available. I guess you could use it as a tracker if you wanted to, where you have 7 things that you can track, or maybe 6 if you just want to use the bottom 6, or you could just use it like in a different way if you wanted to. But I think this is an ideal tracker, to be honest with you. It just makes a lot of sense just because of the narrowness of it as well, and I kind of like the way that this is distributed. After that, you got the other perpetual calendar, as some people like to call it, with like the monthly view, like in a column. I am a fan of this type of spread. I didn't really use it too much last year because I kind of I had my mistake, I think, was trying to use too many planners all at once. But I am a fan of this. I do like that you have the little square at the top, like on Hobonichi. You got the days of the month here, and then you have an additional box here that you can track things on. You could use it as a tracker, like if you put like numbers here on the top, and then you just like color things or like check things. But I think that I'm going to use it as a reading tracker / hobby tracker, like to keep track of what I've been doing that is fun, like video games, TV, books, stuff like that. You have like a vision board. I never use this, to be honest with you. I'm not like a big vision board person, but I might be. Every year I tell myself that I will be, and then that's never the case really, but whatever. You've got this page, which I'm trying to decide how to use this properly, but basically it's supposed to be to track goals. You can do like different types of goals, and you can put like the yearly goal and then the steps to get there. You can mark progress as you go through with this. There's other trackers that you can also implement, that you can also use. So there's some ratings and some rewards here that you can select. There's a little thing that you can use as a chart, I guess. I realize that I'm not explaining myself really well. I am really tired, but I am excited about this. Then you have also a quarterly goals section that is at the beginning of every quarter. Priorities, this quarter, focus, tasks and deadlines, accomplish and review. I think that this is very high level for me because, to be honest with you, I think I would need more than just this. But I think this is a good spot to start thinking in terms of goals. And I am excited to try to use this page for something productive. After that, you have always, for the month, you have a blank spread, and then you have the month on the side. So you can see, for instance, this is January, and you have like this first calendar here with like 3 different boxes, 3 different columns, I guess. So you could put in like appointments, birthdays, and something else. You could do tasks. You could do Monday afternoon, evening if you wanted to. And I quite like the idea of having like this type of calendar as well, like kind of like a bit of a future log, I guess, for the month. Then you have the classic calendar view as well, which I think is very well done. You have like the classic space on the side and then underneath as well. You have Monday to Sunday. There's no difference. There's no different color for the weekend, which I'm a fan of. You do have essentially empty boxes for situations where you don't have days going into these boxes specifically. The interesting thing here that I don't quite understand is that it seems like they add the days from the previous month here, but they don't continue with the next month. I think it must be because this is the beginning of the year. So if I go to a different one, I guess that this will be different. Question mark. Let me just quickly check. No, okay, she does it every single time where she puts the numbers for the previous month if they are here, but she doesn't do it here. That's interesting. But I mean, it's not bad. It's just a choice, personal preference. I don't mind it too much. It just bothers me like the tiniest bit, but that's just me. There's another monthly page here, which I also do appreciate. So the fact that you get so many different pages for the month where you can try to track or like to log different things is great for me. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and this is present in a lot of the planner, is the this giant calendar that you have here, which is in my opinion too big. But I could also see there for someone that like maybe doesn't see very well, maybe that could be useful. I'm sure that there's people that could get good use out of it. That person is just not me, but I will make the best of it, and maybe it will grow me. That's very possible. So you get another calendar here, you have a few boxes here, you have some goals and some tasks that you can put here and here. So as I said, I appreciate that you get 3 different pages for the month. I think that's really good. You do then get into the weeklies, and for each week there's 2 weeklies. There's a vertical weekly and there's a horizontal weekly. With the vertical weekly, it's like a very classic 24-hour calendar essentially. I have just one thing to say, which is that I prefer when if you're doing 24 hours, when the day goes from like 0 to like 23 essentially, instead of starting like at 5 a.m. and then finishing at 4 a.m. I just feel like it just makes it easier for my brain to conceptualize, but I think that this is more of a personal preference, to be honest with you. There is once again the little calendar here. It shows you what week it is, and it also says here that this is week 1. It gives you the day of the week and also the number, I guess, of the actual day. I quite like that the lines are not super intense and super dark. They are not too faint, but they are quite faint, which I like. I could see this being something that people do not like. I think it's personal preference. There's definitely, I think the previous month ones are also like a little bit fainter than the ones on the that are actually part of the month. Sorry, excuse me. I mean, what I mean is, like, for instance, these 3 days are part of December, and the writing I think is slightly fainter. And if I go here, I think that this is the same, where the writing here for these 3 days is fainter than here. So I think that this is intentional. Yeah, in terms of the vertical weekly, this is fine. Like, there's no problem with it at all. I quite like this. I think this is well done. There's also a little bit of space here, I guess, to track some additional tasks. And then you get into the horizontal weekly, and you have this side of this page on the side. It's got 2 boxes basically, and it's got some space at the top for like tasks and things to care about. There's some additional spots. There's an additional bit here for tasks. It's very faint, so you can completely ignore the circles that are already there. Once again, there's this calendar which is there, and it's way too big in my personal opinion. I don't know who needs this. Maybe that person is you, and if that is you, I want to know how you're going to use it, because I might get like some good inspiration on how to make good use of this. But for me, I would have preferred if this was like blank. And in fact, if this full page was completely blank, to be honest, just like some squares. But this said, I still like it. Like it's great. I'm not complaining. This is definitely for me a 10 out of 10 planner. This essentially continues for all of the weeks that are part of January. And then after the last one, you get like a blank page and then the days of the month. So you have one page per day essentially for the whole month. So you see January 1st, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so on and so forth. So the dailies don't begin before the beginning of the year. They just start on the 1st, unlike the weeklies. You do have here on the side a very faint outline of a time. So I guess you could potentially also plan in the dailies, which is definitely not what I'm going to do. It's very minimal. It doesn't occupy a lot of space, which I like. You got here at the bottom a little dot that symbolizes like where you would have to draw a line if you wanted to draw something in the middle, right? Like a line in the middle to split the page in two. You could do that if you wanted to, which is great. And I'm a fan of that. And basically this continues for the rest of the month. And then after that, you just get into February and essentially the cycle starts again. So you get the monthlies, then or the weeklies, then the dailies, and so on and so forth, until essentially you get to the beginning of the next quarter, and then you get once again the same quarterly page that you got at the start of the previous quarter. So if I go back here, this is the page for January, this is the page for April. Essentially, this continues for the rest of the year. At the very end of the planner, you get a couple of empty pages, and then you get these two pages where you have like numbers from 1 to 100, which you can use, I think, to essentially create a list of something, like your favorite things in the year or something like that, things that you read / watched or something like that as well. And then after that, you have a series of blank pages. And with blank, I actually mean like grid pages. I think, if I remember correctly, there's 40 of them, so like 20 sheets. And after that, all you get is essentially the same thing that you had at the very start, that sentence, the little piece of cardboard that you typically get at the end of like books and planners, and that's it essentially. There's nothing else. The planner is definitely very sizable. I would say that it's probably like double the size of like a Hobonichi, if I had to guess. So if you were to stick a lot of ephemera in this, I think you would get real chunky real fast. But if you're just trying to get something to be really productive, I think that this is actually a very good planner. I quite like the design. I think it looks quite nice and elegant and minimalistic. As I said, if I had to nitpick, I would say that the calendar is probably the part that I like the least in the weeklies, just because of how I tend to use weeklies anyways, because I would like to use this page to kind of make a lot of lists essentially for the week. But having like so much space occupied by this little thing essentially kind of takes away a lot of the space. There's still a lot of space, but considering that this is the planning space essentially for the week, because here you're just going to take care of the schedule that you have. Here you could put like tasks that are dated, but there's a lot of tasks that are not dated, like grocery lists and stuff like that you might want to add, and I don't think that this is enough space for everything. If I was to use this the same way that I was trying to use my sterling ink last year, because I got a sterling ink last year that was horizontal, I think I would prefer this page on the sterling ink. But as I said, I'm also aware that this is kind of like my personal preference, I guess. In summary, I think that this planner is a really, really nice planner. I was very pleasantly surprised by how nicely made this is. Like, it looks nice, it looks expensive, it looks well made, very high quality planner, which it should be because the price of it is obviously very substantial. The cover is high quality as well, so I am very pleased with my choice of planner. I had ordered both this one and also a Faded Chronicle at the time, thinking that I was going to gift the one that I decided to not keep. But realistically, the Faded Chronicle will come in probably 2 weeks. So probably not before December starts. And also, I think that I highly prefer some things about the ROSEY Life Planner. I like the fact that there's daily pages, and I also like the fact that the horizontal weekly doesn't have too many boxes to divide the space. I think this is once again personal preference, because I could see some people really enjoying additional like demarcation, really. So I'm not saying that this is necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that I think that this layout would work better for me. And I appreciate that you have like daily pages. I think if I had to use just like a planner and that's it, without doing any bullet journaling, or even with just doing some very light bullet journaling, I think that I might have picked the Faded Chronicle only. But I'm actually glad that I picked this because of how I intend to organize, I guess, my my planning for next year. So I actually think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this one, and I'm probably going to do a little setup video, and maybe not actually, because I don't think it will be that interesting. I'm very minimalistic, so I think I'm just going to write my name in and add a couple of tasks in. But I am going to make a video, I think, where I discuss how I'm going to what I'm going to do with planners next year, because I think that is fun to discuss. And when Faded Chronicle Planner arrives, I might make a video on it before I wrap it up and I gift it, where I just like very lightly open it. I might actually not do that though. I'm not sure. I still need to decide. I'll decide that, and then I'll see what I decide to do. But yeah, I think for the way that I intend to do some planning next year, I actually think that this makes more sense than the Faded Chronicle one. So I think that I've already got my planner of choice, and that planner of choice is going to be this ROSEY Life Planner. I'm going to put my little sleeve thing in here, I guess. It does have like this pen loop thing. How well this would work when I'm actually using the planner, this is unclear to me, to be honest with you. I guess you could like slip the pen into the loop first, and then you can just slide this in. For me, this it seems like probably for the way that I'm going to handle this probably wouldn't work. I could see this working for some people, and it is kind of nice that you can kind of slip it in to kind of be a marker, I guess, like to know where the page is, or just to store some additional things in. So I think that's nice, I guess. Yeah, I am very happy with my planner. I can't wait to start using it. It's not even that long now, because it's only like a month and a half, but obviously, you know, you start planning in advance. So I guess in just like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll probably already start using the planner. I might have to start using it even before that, to be honest. So I'm very happy. In a way, I guess, while it was a long wait, in a way, I guess it kept my planner special for a longer time until it was almost time to use it. So I guess all's went well that ends well. Would I order from this brand again? I think it makes sense for me to do that next year as well, if I like this next year, just because it's based in Europe, which is nice for me as a person that also lives in Europe. It's easy to get the planner for me in general. Is it a little bit expensive? Yes, I think it's a little bit more expensive than other brands like Faded Chronicle, but because it's a EU product, and I mean, not that it's made in Europe, but I mean, like, it's all handled within EU. I think I'm fine with that. At the end of the day, if you were to buy a planner from US, you would end up spending pretty much the same amount with like the extra shipping and the taxes, so I'm not too mad about that. Yeah, essentially that's it. I this is a very short video. I didn't want to make a video that was too long or too complex. I'm just trying to kind of showcase what I got right before I dive into it and I start actually writing on it. So that's all. That's pretty much as my discipline will allow me to wait before I dive in. I say, if you are wondering if it might be worth buying one, my first impression is it is worth it. As I go through 2026, we'll see if my opinion will change. For now, I'm very happy with my purchase. I hope that this has been interesting to watch. If it isn't, that's fine too. I am going to film a video, possibly today or something, where I discuss my lineup for 2026 and what I intend to do for my planning. So stay tuned and have a good one. Bye.